Samsung Galaxy A10 is the highest selling smartphone in the first half of 2019 to be shipped in the world, and Samsung seems to have done something right in the A series with the pricing. Though the Galaxy A10 is a super budget device and the cheapest of the A series, so it will be interesting to check out its build quality and structural strength, especially after the devastating structural failure of the Samsung Galaxy A20 tested a while back on the channel. Is the Samsung A10 weaker or stronger than the A20? Apart from being a decent starter device with a single rear camera, the Samsung Galaxy A10 runs on a cut-down version of One UI and also has provisions for a dedicated 1TB microSD card slot, which may become necessary since the provided storage is just 32GB. Due to its smaller size 3400 mAh battery and slim plastic build compared to other brands, it weighs in at a much lighter 168 grams and seems to suffer from a bit of flex in my usual trial bend. Before starting with the scratch test, a quick check for potential bias to find out if the lower powered 14nm Exynos 7884 coupled with the Mali G71 GPU is able to handle heavy games or not. If you remember, the Mi A3, which scores much higher on Antutu with the Snapdragon 665, had defaulted at low graphics settings. But surprisingly, the Samsung A10 defaults at medium settings even with a low powered processor. Though the performance is nothing to write home about, since there was consistent frame drops and lag while playing heavy games like PUBG or Asphalt 9. It is advised to play PUBG in balance mode for a more playable gaming experience. Starting with the scratch test to know the quality of this unnamed tempered glass protection provided by the company you're paying for by rubbing it with common items found in pockets and the blade of a heavy-duty box cutter. Lower quality glasses found on most budget devices of Oppo, Vivo and Realme, barring the Realme X and XT, are not able to handle the blade and suffer from ugly scratch marks. But higher quality Corning glasses or even basic glass found on cheaper Redmi devices have always managed to survive the blade. In general, brands like Samsung or Xiaomi mostly do provide good quality tempered glass protection. As expected, the tempered glass protection on the Samsung Galaxy A10 is similar to that of Corning glass, suffers no damage and passes my scratch test with ease. Next up in the drop test, dropping the Samsung A10 on hard surface with a soft case and ordinary tempered glass. Until now, 3 devices have failed the drop test, namely the Realme 5 Pro, Redmi K20 Pro and the recently tested Samsung A70s was a disaster. So let's find out how the Galaxy A10 performs in its drop test. After 6 drops from pocket height, the Galaxy A10 seems to be doing fine without any damage. Now continuing with the 7th drop from 6 feet head height. The lightweight plastic build and design of the Samsung Galaxy A10 actually does a great job of holding up to the drop abuse. It passes my drop test, suffering no damage to the display unit, camera or internals. Next in the sound test, to test the audio quality of the external speakers placed weirdly at the back. The speaker placement at the back is not the best since it gets blocked when placed on a surface. But other than that, the volume at max settings is not bad to receive calls and vocals are loud enough for consuming media. Now moving on to fun stuff with value, the bend test. To know the structural strength of this plastic build, does the Samsung A10 suffer from any structural weakness that you should be aware of? The Samsung Galaxy A20, if you remember, had the weakest build quality in the A series, so hopes are obviously low for the A10. The first bend from the display side has a significant amount of flex with a cracking sound, making the A10 bend weirdly near the volume buttons, though it does lock out without suffering any major damage. The second bend from the back also flexes the A10 out of shape, making it curve to a high degree, but somehow the plastic design manages to survive without damage. The last bend from the display side has a high degree of flex with a slight bit of sound, but surprisingly the slim plastic build and design language of the Samsung Galaxy A10 manages to survive without breaking the glass or internals. It reminds me of the Vivo Y81, which had a similar slim plastic body and had also passed my bend test.